Two countries side by side, both packed with mountains, beaches, and Balkan charm, but so different once you land. Montenegro is famous for its postcard-perfect Bay of Kotor, whilst Albania is Europe's fastest growing tourism hotspot. We spent time in both and it wasn't what we expected. So in this video, we are putting them head to head, comparing beauty, adventure, and the people. And by the end, you'll know exactly which country should be your next holiday destination.
First thing that we're going to compare is the safety, because I think a lot of people, when they come to Albania in particular, they're worried about how dangerous it is. And that's probably because of movies like Taken or anything with a gangster in it who usually is Albanian. But the truth is, we found it to be incredibly safe. Albania and Montenegro were both very, very safe. It was surprising actually how much trust people give you. For example, when we were in Albania, we got given our hire car. They didn't take my credit card. They didn't really get us to sign anything.
They just gave you the keys.
They just gave us the keys and away we went. We hadn't even paid yet. So there's a lot of trust there, and that is something that you do not need to be worried about when you go.
Yeah, especially in Tirana. I think the first couple of days I had a few beauty appointments booked and things like that, and I was off on my own in taxis, and I was a bit nervous, but then by the end of our time in Tirana, I felt so safe, and all of the hype around how unsafe Albania is just not true.
And that kind of brings us to the second point, which is the people. And this is a really surprising part about Albania and about Montenegro, is because when we've been traveling across the world, you know, you go to Asia and you go to different parts of Europe, and the people are really lovely and inviting. This is different when you get to the Balkans. And it's not a bad thing. People are still lovely, but it's just a different way of life. People don't wave at you on the street like where we're from in Australia. You know, if you pass someone on the street or in the car, you give them a wave, you say g'day. That doesn't happen in Albania or the Balkans or Montenegro.
Yeah, I think in particular, we did see a bit of a difference between the two as well. In Albania, they were a little bit more friendly than they were in Montenegro. And we're not saying this to offend anyone.
No.
This was just our own personal experience. Of course, we came across some lovely people in both.
Yeah.
But in Montenegro, they were a little bit less warm. And it took them a little bit more time, I guess, to warm up to you. And then once they did, they were, you know,
yeah,
your best
they were
mates.
great. Yeah, for example, like we went to the same gym for I think 3 weeks, right?
More, a month.
More than, yeah, and you know, I'm a very smiley person. I'm always smiling and giving people a wave. And for the first 2 weeks at that gym, I made no friends.
Yeah, no friends.
But
and then
third week, one day.
Yeah, we were leaving. The day we were leaving, everyone was like, hey
everyone
guys.
was like, hey, waving. We were chatting, and I was like, man.
They just take a while, I think.
Just take a little bit of time to warm up to you. Now, if you're still watching this video, hopefully it's because you like it and you're enjoying the content. And if you do, please hit that like button and make sure you subscribe, because we send this type of content out all the time.
And we are a bit more active on Instagram from day to day, so make sure you come and follow us here too. So the third thing we are going to compare is the beaches. Now, don't get us wrong, both places have beautiful beaches again, and this is just our experience, but we found that Albania had just more beautiful beaches and what you would expect, like an old school European holiday vibe. Like if you wanted to go to a European country and just sit on the beach, so kind of like without deck chairs and all of that sort of stuff, like places like Hamari, we absolutely loved. Dermi, amazing. Sarande, and then Samil, crystal blue water with just like stunning views, and they do call that the Maldives of Albania, of Europe actually.
Yeah, for a reason.
For a reason. Yeah. Whereas when we were in Montenegro, places like Olsinj, places like Bar, the beaches just weren't it. We don't know if we didn't find the right ones, but they were dirty. There was just not very many beautiful, like, nice crystal blue beaches.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. Like we definitely found like little coves and everything when you venture out of those cities. Like when we ventured out of Olsinj and when we ventured out of Bar, we were able to find nice ones. But yeah, in the towns, the beaches weren't very nice.
Yeah. And then like the Bay of Kotor, yes, we know it's a bay, but it's almost resembles like a lake, and it just kind of doesn't feel like that beach vibe. It feels like a giant lake, even though it's not. So you just don't get that kind of like beach holiday vibe like you do in Albania.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us perfectly onto the scenery, because both places are incredibly beautiful and we saw some amazing stuff. Like for example, Kotor in Montenegro
The most
is
beautiful place we've seen.
one of the most beautiful
Stunning.
places in the world.
Like,
it is
Yeah,
incredible.
if you want to go somewhere and just sit and go, wow, like this is stunning, then go to Kotor because it's just, it's breathtaking.
It's breathtaking because it's a fjord. It is like all this sea comes into the land and you have these big mountains surrounding all these little cute towns all the way around. Lots of stuff to do. A little pricey, but well worth it. Worth it.
Yeah, we loved it. And then in Albania, of course, you've got the Alps. And in Montenegro, there is a national park as well. We didn't get to it, so I have heard that is just as stunning as the Albanian Alps. But yeah, the hike Valbona to Teth was amazing. So in both countries, you can get active, you can explore the mountains and really get lost in some beautiful, beautiful scenery. But in terms of which one's better, I think actually Montenegro and Kotor takes the cake.
Number 5, we want to compare the cities, so a bit more inland, away from the ocean, which isn't usually our vibe. We love the ocean. But we did venture a lot in Albania to places like Tirana, the capital city, which was fantastic.
We loved it.
Very walkable, very easy to get around, very fun city,
Trendy,
lots to
good
do.
Food.
Good
it
food,
was
good
such
coffee,
a vibe.
100%.
Good art culture.
Yeah,
it was just 10 out of 10 for
10
us.
out
We
of
could have
10.
stayed there for a long time, and we don't usually like cities.
No. And then that being said, there were actually 2 other towns that we visited that we really enjoyed and thought are well worth it and extremely beautiful. Gjirokasta and Berat. Both these little old towns in Albania. Lots of history, beautiful little cobblestone streets and all of that sort of stuff, castles, and we really enjoyed our times there.
It felt like you were going back in time and getting a real glimpse of Albanian history.
Yeah.
Whereas in Montenegro, no one really suggested for us to go to the capital of Montenegro, so we didn't. We're not really sure what that's like. Correct us if we're wrong, and it is, equal to Tirana. And then other towns, they just didn't stand out to us except for Kotor as much as Berat and Gjirokasta.
Yeah, I think the only places you could really compare are maybe Sveti Stefan and Petrovac in Montenegro, and those are both on the water and they're cute towns, but I guess they just felt like they weren't as rich in history as when we were in Berat and Gjirokasta.
Or like quintessential Albanian or like quintessential Montenegro,
Yeah. Number 6 is getting around both countries, and the bus systems in both places were fantastic. Honestly, it was super easy to get around. I don't think there's too much difference. We were able to book everything online, rock up, the buses were there. Both countries overbooked the buses, and so you might be standing up. And both countries, we had delayed buses sometimes. So I think, you get what you're given.
Yeah.
And in terms of ease, though, very easy.
Both very easy, and taxis are both very affordable and probably on par as well, and a lot cheaper than places like Italy and Greece.
Yeah, and same with car hire. We hired cars in both places. The people were absolutely lovely.
So lovely.
Both of the places we hired them from
were fantastic.
And had really no issues at all.
Okay, next up we are comparing the food.
Our favourite.
Honestly, we couldn't choose because they both had fantastic foods. And again, quite similar. They do meat so well. So in Montenegro, cevapi. Oh, we could have lived off cevapi. So good. And then also in Albania, we had the best pie of our life at a place called Ira. So they just know how to do slow cooked meat to perfection. And then some of their desserts are really similar as well. I'm pretty sure they both have trileche, which I fell in love with. So both I wouldn't be able to choose, I think, because they are quite similar and both fantastic.
Yeah. And just before we wrap up and tell you which holiday destination is the best for you, I wanted to talk about the cleanliness of these countries because, it was really surprising to me. Some of these beautiful places, there was like a little bit of rubbish scattered around, and I know this is because tourism hasn't been around for as long as other European countries, but it was a bit heartbreaking sometimes looking at it.
We were in Albania and about to do the hike from Valbona to Teth, and we were going through the lake. I can't remember what it was called, but there was rubbish everywhere in the lake, and it was just so sad. I just wanted to jump in and like pick it all up, and I'll message someone and be like, who is running this show?
Who's running this show?
Can someone clean it up?
I think comparing to a place like Greece, Greece is only half an hour away from Albania. And
so different.
And then you get over we crossed over the ferry into Corfu and there was no rubbish. And so then it's just, makes you think like, these things could be fixed. And hopefully
they do. So to give it a bit of a wrap, and again, this is our personal preference and from our experience, if you want like an old school fun beach holiday, good European vibe, we would choose Albania, and we would go to places like Hamara, Samil, Saranda. Also, if you like to hike, Albanian Alps are fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't been to the mountains in Montenegro, and we hear they are equally as good. So I'm sure if you like to hike as well, Montenegro's got that for you too. And then if you don't mind spending a little bit more money, and if you want like a beautiful, relaxing place with stunning scenery where there's like lots to do, but you don't really move around too much, then we would 100% recommend Kotor in Montenegro. It was our favorite place out of everywhere, and we wish that we stayed there so long. So I guess it just depends on what preference you like, what sort of holiday you like, if you're happy to spend a bit more money, if you like beaches, if you like adventure. And we hope that clears that up for you.
So that wraps up this video. We hope you like the comparison. We hope it helps you choose which holiday destination you go to next. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If we said anything that you don't agree with, also leave it down below.
But be nice, because it's just our opinion.
Be nice because it's just our opinion. And we're happy to be wrong. We're happy to get feedback from you guys, but this is what we feel and this is what we experienced, and we had such a good time in the Balkans.
Yeah, we loved it.
It was so enjoyable. What an experience. Some of the most beautiful places we've ever been to. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.